it would be taken out of the area where there was money. So it's, the state told us not to study past budgets, so we study past spending. And this past spending even is a little difficult to track. We're trying to get that closer to being accurate. Okay, municipal association dues, $640.
Where you at, Bill? Oh, we missed
Right
a
in the
couple.
middle.
1,900.
1920.4.
There's get missed unallocated insurance.
Unallocated insurance, which one is that?
That is the municipal insurance, so there's two lines, there's one in Artie's budget and then there's one in ours. So that would be the insurance on the building. Most of that bill comes out of Artie's line because it covers the snow plows and all.
That's
the
why I do
issue.
not do this alone. I know you're splitting a lot of that stuff, and I don't know you're split. So, okay.
Is that the line?
Okay, contingency, $10,000. Dog control salaries, $7,526. That's another one that was, the board decided, what,
Everybody got
2%.
that, they got a lot.
Dog control contractual, that's the mayor's animal.
Will the standby vet as well, probably?
Okay.
It might. I decided to ignore it for now. We have a lot bigger issues here.
But that would, the contractual, wouldn't that, her mileage and stuff come out of that?
That line is for rabies calls, mileage, and any equipment she needs to perform the job.
Stop.
Okay, public health contractual, we don't have a public health officer at this time. Highway superintendent salary. Department requests 50,000, we're at 46,480. I don't like being short of what the highway commissioner feels is appropriate. In studying other townships and seeing how they do business and what they are paying their highway superintendent. This municipality was at one time in the middle of the pack. Now, we're low. The other thing, recently looking through two other townships' budgets, they have clerical help for the highway superintendent. You saw what our highway superintendent brought in tonight. He doesn't have a clerk. He understands the numbers and he just, that's part of his job, he doesn't. Any comments on this line or any different thoughts from the board?
Well, my confusion would be, does this also cover benefits as well, or is that
No.
somewhere else?
Mhm.
Okay.
How much more percentage would it be to raise it up to that amount that was asked for?
Well,
Well-
it's gotta be, what's that, is that
12%.
46?
There was another thing here that rubs a little bit too. The assistant highway superintendent will take more money home than our highway superintendent will this year, without incurring any further overtime.
Because he's two separate people?
No, the assistant highway
You know what you mean, but
superintendent
he's a
gets
union worker.
overtime,
Oh,
okay?
it's not because he's a union
Mr.
worker.
Wilder,
Pardon?
Mr. Wilder.
It's not because he's a union worker on the one hand and the assistant superintendent on the other.
No, he's just talking just union.
Mm-mm.
Just his union salary.
Oh,
He's an
okay.
hourly employee that is allowed overtime.
Got it.
Now, this happens in a lot of industries, it's not unique.
Oh, yeah, in academia, like a new hire would always get paid more than you would.
The President of the United States is a little short too, isn't he?
No,
In law enforcement
No.
around here in the cities generally has the high salaries. You know, I'm not making a case
academic
for
coaches.
Artie having to take home more than the deputy superintendent takes home, but I am making somewhat of a case for maybe a little bit more raise here.
I was just curious about how it was differentiated. I have no opinion on this way I wanted.
We can come back to this item too. The bottom line at the end here is going to have an impact. So if you'd like, we can discuss this later.
Well, I think if we're gonna compare apples to apples, we should compare the entire benefit, because if, it's my understanding, the benefit packages that we give here is, we cover a tax.
You know, that is comparing, because he gets the same benefits as.
I understand, but we should include it with the salary and then take a look at what that whole package is, because I don't know if the other superintendents are getting their benefits
Rest assured,
tax-free, so I would like to really, if we were gonna do a really straight analysis, we would do that we would take the full benefit and base it upon that. I'm just saying, I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just saying if I were to analyze it, I would have to analyze the whole thing.
You're talking the other municipalities.
Well,
Their
I-
highway super
well, I-
gets for salary plus benefits in
Right,
comparison to what
because
he
I
gets.
think our benefits, we cover the tax on the benefits, and I don't know how much.
We don't pay tax on benefits.
Okay, so we're covering his benefits tax-free, so obviously that's before tax, but we're paying them outright, correct?
Yeah, benefits are never taxed.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that number, we need to analyze that number on top of this
I can
number.
get you the highway superintendent's salaries in the other surrounding areas, and then show you what they get for a benefit compared to Artie.
That would be awesome. Because maybe we're way low, because maybe their benefit package is way better, we don't know. So then we have to say, wait a minute, we should be at least equal on the benefit side. And benefits are more important sometimes than salary based upon what it is.
okay. We're going to have an opportunity to review this whole thing. This isn't the final deal here. The board will have another opportunity, October 10th or 12th, I forget which. I figure here, we'll get to it. So this is something you want to discuss further. Okay. Highway deputy salary, from $850 to $2,000. This is a stipend above and beyond his hourly wage for his additional duties as the deputy.
But we put in a stipulation that he has to attend meetings, so many meetings,
That was,
and report.
that was my idea here. I would like to see somebody besides Artie from the highway department, because it's such a big part of our budget, attend a meeting maybe once every 2 months or something of that nature to be able to take the job over if something happens to Artie. We need some kind of a continuance there. I would prefer it. He also is the man that we talked to with the union negotiation. So, what are your thoughts with that, Artie? It's good, I
You
know,
won't get Kenny to come to a meeting.
I know it's getting in an area where there's gonna be a little conflict, but you know, the benefit of the town is more important than some conflict with a man here who wants to be the deputy and wants to look at just one side of it and operate equipment. We need something a little different than
I
that.
mean, if the board was to require, the deputy to attend a few meetings, if he isn't agreeing with it, then somebody else will be deputy.
Yeah, and then this line would have a different price to me. You know, I'm looking for service to the town, at a price. I mean, that's the way I look at things. I realize it's pushing, beyond what tradition has been. But after all, look at the numbers here and look at the equipment. Look at that last truck we just bought. This board has a huge investment there, and as you'll see later in this budget, we need to look at that stuff more thoroughly and know just what's going on.
Especially when Artie's out of town, they can't make a meeting, then the deputy has to report,
Right.
fill in for him.
Would there be a way we could, like maybe to bring it to resolution, or maybe write a standard operating procedure, or, you know, job duties of a highway deputy?
A job description. Now, we have the employee manual, we have the labor union agreement, and you have the civil service law, and you have to pick and choose in that area and write something appropriate for this position.
I say that.
That would be my take on this, but, you know, before we firm the budget and somebody start talking to Kenny about what should be done, I think the board should be in unison. There should be, you know, a conversation and have the board agree on what is expected and what is paid. I guess be thinking about it between now and October 10th. That's a line item we should look at.
Could we kind of like draft up something and we could just kind of present it to the board? You know, just kind of a rough outline saying, listen, if we're gonna pay this amount, this is what we expect.
He's reappointed annually, correct? Did you reappoint him once a year?
Yes.
So for budget purposes, if you put the two in saying that you had to do the additional duties, you can always reduce that line next year after you come to agreement with him, because you don't have a lot of time right now
Right.
to pass it, so.
And because it's in the budget, doesn't mean we have to
No.
pay it.
No,
So-
so right now, he's at whatever, he's at
850.
850. So if you can't come to an agreement with him to, this is just for budget purposes, so then if not, then you can drop him back to the 850 and say he doesn't have to come to a meeting, or whatever you guys decide. But for budget, I would recommend you leave it at the 2. Usually you won't over exceed that, but you can also move that money next year by resolution to adjust if you're not gonna give it to him.
Okay.
Actually, Phil, you're right, because we don't even appropriate that money until the beginning of the
Well,
year.
you're not
when we-
allocating it to him
Right, to
until you
him until
appoint
we
him.
make the resolution at the appointments at the organizational meeting, so you're right.
Okay, highway superintendent contractual, 2,500. Everybody must be happy. Garage contractual,
That's the offset to the building contractual, that's for Artie's utilities at the barn, his phone, NIMO.
okay. Veteran services contractual, 100. Set the flags. Okay. Programs for the aging contractual, 200. Economic development, 0. Okay, state retirement employee benefits, 9,500. I'm ignoring all the zeros here.
Yeah, that 9,500, again, that's proportioned over the 3 funds. So you're gonna see an amount in general, you're gonna see an amount in outside, which is B, and then you'll see an amount in Artie's, and that goes solely by salary. It's figured, we already have the proposed bill from the state, and then we just allocate it by salaries. That's how pretty much all the benefits are done.
Social Security and Medicare, 5,000.
Yep, it's a percentage on all the point ones.
Okay, workers' compensation,
It goes paid to the county, and that's again allocated over the 3 fund.
yeah, we did that from the bill.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Hospital and dental insurance, 28,000.
You don't have the projections yet, so they're saying that it could be increased cost between 20 and 25%. I think we did 20 on
It
last year's
looks
budget.
like 20% last year and 20% this year. In negotiating with the union, I have requested a clause that we can reopen that part of the union contract so that we can negotiate with hospital and dental insurance carriers. 40% increase, more than 40 over 2 years is just, we gotta look at it.
Legalized theft.
For now, this is it, and I didn't want the union to hold us hostage on the rest of the union agreement over the health insurance, so I asked for a reopen clause. Okay. This is revenue side. There's nothing really to discuss there. It is what it is. Okay, we're budget fund B. Code enforcement salary, 10,743. That again, that's the 2% that the board decided on. Code enforcement contractual, 2,000. I don't,
Mileage, this is
That looks
mileage
like a-
and anything he needs. for-
that looks like a pretty good number to me. Youth program, carrying forward what we have done in the past. Zoning contractual, 250. Planning contractual, 3,500.
Excuse me, Bill, I think we need to speak to Joe, but probably next year they'll be printing the comprehensive plan, and that will probably raise that number.
Yeah.
And I'm just wanting a heads up that we don't, so if we wanna allocate, even if we get, they were talking about possibly getting an intern to write the comprehensive plan, so we didn't have to pay for an expert, but I think printing may be more than that, and I just wanna alert you to that, okay?
There are a lot of areas in this budget where there are things that are going on that aren't gonna be going on every year. And because of the numbers at the bottom of the page, what I wanted to do was hit the budget as close as I can for the ongoing expenses and not address the extra things that this town is involved in right now. Once we come up with a master plan, that lives. That lives for quite a few years, and it doesn't require additional steps. You're right. We will probably exceed the printing and contractual here if we have any kind of economic activity at all. Which, there's a brewery looking in our area, there's a water plant looking in our area, there are a lot of things that can happen here that will cost us in development. I don't wanna guess. I don't wanna bring the budget to a level where we've got something in every fund to handle every contingency. I wanna try to keep it under control as best I can.
I get you, I'm just saying that for them to now take the surveys and put the new comprehensive plan together and print it, may blow that number
We can look at that.
I just
again.
want you, you know, maybe you wanna just see.
You also have two this year, there was 3,500, and they haven't spent anything yet. So as long as we have some type of invoice, we can carry that money over to next year, or it'll close the fund balance at the end of the year, and then
Right.
you guys can make a motion
We
to
can
take it
make-
out.
Right, but I know that they've submitted a number, I will be seeing a number of vouchers for the advertising for the survey and so forth.
We
coming.
paid Leap Up some already, I don't know what line it got taken out of.
It came out
Well, see,
of town board.
that's,
I might have
yeah,
to
that's,
fix that. I'll look
that's
at
what
it.
I'm getting at here, that's what the state was.
Well, that's what I'm just mentioning it because it may show up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no doubt about it. Okay. Zoning contractual, planning contractual, 3,500. Refuse and garbage contractual, 600. State retirement employee benefits, 2020. That's up or down depending on what line you look at here, but how are we arriving at that figure?
I'm sorry, which,
We're
Where are we?
looking at 9010.
that was that's a retirement, that's the one that got allocated across the funds, and it's based on the code enforcer's salary compared to what the new bill is. So that's an actual figure.
Okay.
So we'll exhaust that both years.
Social Security and Medicare, 822.
There's a percentage off his salary as well,
Okay.
and so is the workers' comp.
Yeah, I saw that bill. Okay. Let's get past that. Return worksheet. Taxes. Okay, I'm on highway townwide appropriations, unallocated insurance, 20,000. Again, this is split, right?
Yep.
Okay, DA.
I don't look for any big increase there. In fact, they sent us back a check. We got rid of that one truck early. And we had, 4 endorsements for return premiums. But that'll go up when the new stuff arrives. But I don't think it'll be that much. Okay, general repairs, personnel services, salaries, highway to garage, 76,000. In this area, we have a pretty good idea where we're going to end up with the labor union, and we didn't use the 2% figure that the board agreed on here. It'll be about a 3%. The union's request was in the 3 to 5% range, and we're going to be settling around the lower part of that. General repairs contractual, 45,000. Artie, you might jump in here regarding repairs. As the trucks get older,
Oh, this is road repair bill.
Hmm?
That line is road repairs.
road repairs?
Road repairs.
Okay,
Culvert pipes.
I'm sorry.
Materials.
Well, I can see that going down. We're in pretty good shape, aren't we?
No, that number that's on this paper ain't accurate. If you look at what's been spent.
I just signed a check for 110.
That was for,
Hanson's.
5112 that
that was
comes out
12.
of. Which number is accurate? The 10?
The one we're on now is 51
10.4.
10.1.
That's for general road repairs during the summer, so.
Okay.
Diesel fuel comes out of there in the summertime, gravel, blacktop, cold patch.
All your expenses in patching highway.
Anything on fixing the roads, yeah.
Okay.
So, Artie, where's our sand in our item 4 and whatever, our shoulder mix? Is that out of this one here?
Shoulder materials out of there.
Okay.
Sand is out of different fund.
Okay. Thank you.
General repairs contractual, 5110.4, 45,000.
And what's that for, Artie?
That's 5110.4, that's for
That's
fixing
what-
roads.
Fixing the roads, okay.
Point 1 is for salary, point 4 is for
Okay.
fixing the roads.
Materials?
Materials, yes.
Okay. Permanent improvements, 13,000.
That's,
That's
Um,
labor.
right.
That's
That's labor.
Okay,
Point ones are all labor.
all right. Permanent improvements, equipment, 130,000.
That's misleading, it's not equipment, it's permanent improvements, that's road, major road fixing, that's where blacktopping comes out of. For when we hire Hanson,
I don't know why the state code.
it says,
so-
it's always said
I
that.
know, I can't change it. But that's where that
It'd
big
be
bill
better
just
called
came out.
permanent road improvements, it'd be a
Right.
better title for it.
All right.
So this is what we take out, when you ask to pave 2 roads, it's out of this,
Out of that
point
line.
2,
Yes.
2.2. Okay.
12.2,
12.2.
yes, sir.
Okay, machinery, personnel services, 24,000. Is that repairs?
That's labor while we're working on equipment, yep.
All right. Machinery and equipment, 300,000. Any questions on that number?
That's a repair fund, right?
Oh,
No,
No.
I know what that
New
is.
equipment.
Oh, all right, that's for purchasing.